call. It's entirely up to you. If you want to stick in the smaller program, that's fine. Or if you're here and you haven't been in any programs, that's fine. But if you're doing more than 300K and you don't think $2,500 a month is a good value to get shit to happen, then I would suggest you nuts, you're crazy. Okay, so therefore what I wanted to do to demonstrate just how powerful it is when you actually do stuff and you're part of the private coaching program, I want to introduce you to someone who's turned into a good friend. I won't say good friend, probably just a friend. Well, not even that, maybe an acquaintance actually, yeah. Can you put your hands together for Ian Parker?
We were friends until I found out you supported St George.
Yeah, and look what colours he's wearing, would you believe? He's a South Sydney supporter, and I owe him a dinner at a nice restaurant here on the Gold Coast, because just before Souths played St George in the finals, he texts me, and I was in Hawaii, I think, at the time, and he said, let's bet a dinner on it. I went, yeah, mate, the Dragons will thrash you. And we lost by a point, didn't we? St George lost by a point. I think he's just wearing red and white just to stir me. Ian, can you just explain to everybody what your business is? And yeah, I know you've been with my thing for a few years now, but I mean, what was your business and what is it now?
Okay, so we've got an online sales coaching, sales leadership and business coaching program. And we've been with JD for about 3 years, I think, Mel. Yeah, so for about 3 years. So when we joined up with JD, we've owned and operated dealerships for the last 35 years. We sold our last dealership in 15 and we joined up with JD. And we were putting an online sales training program together and leadership mentoring program together for car dealerships and truck dealerships and things. And we got involved with JD. We actually Mel found his stuff on a Facebook thing that was a free event, which we went to, one of his day events. Anyway, we joined up for the masterclass, and JD put a marketing plan together, and we'd sort of realised where we wanted to be, and we knew the market that we were chasing. So, you know, Mel was saying we should be involved with this guy, we should be doing this. I said, yeah, but I know where we need to go. We need to be chasing dealerships, and that's where we need to be. So what do I need to pay this goose for, like, you know? But anyway, so but what JD did for us was it sort of opened our eyes that the sales coaching that we train is about building relationships and trust and rapport with people, and people buy from people they like and trust. And, you know, in talking with JD, he said, you know, you guys should, you know, we should look at things of the bigger picture. So rather than just focus on car dealerships and things, let's look at, you know, everyone needs sales training, so let's look at the big picture. So 3 years on, we were just concentrating on car dealers like New South Wales, Queensland, and just floating around doing that. But 3 years on, we've got 30% of our business is car dealerships today, and 70% of our business is non-automotive. We've got clients all around Australia, New Zealand, and the US now. And it's all from just being able to implement things that we go to this guy with. And the beauty that it also offers us is that with our business coaching, and we're working with businesses that want want help with different things. And if we don't have the answers in the marketing, and I'm not a marketer, I'll tell you, but I can teach people how to sell, we just tap into this bloke. And for me to employ someone, and, you know, Mel and I've looked at, for us to employ a marketer to help our business and be there on tap would cost you, you know, 300 grand a year. You probably get JD for 100, but, you know, for a good one, you pay 300. But the thing with it is that we just tap into the guy. Like, we've got 24/7 access to the guy. We want anything, so we're dealing with clients that say, hey, we need this or that. You know, problems. Mel jumps into Wow Central, can't find it. So just ring in. That's what we pay for. So, and that's what we do. So our business is just, it's just skyrocketed. We've been with the guy for 3 years, and, you know, we just keep hanging in there because we just keep coming up with ideas that we can just bounce off him and say, hey, JD, can we do this? How do you reckon this will work? And he'll go, sometimes he says I'm a dickhead, but I think he's talking about Mel. I'm not sure. But the other thing is he'll just say, yeah, look, that's okay, but just tweak it a little bit and do this, or tweak a little bit and do that. And the beauty is that it just saves, we still go out and test and measure, but we're not test and measure as much because we're actually getting some good advice before we go out and do the test and measure. So
thanks, man. And look, I think the big change for Ian, if I can be so bold to be boastful, and that's very unlike me, you know that one of my greatest assets is my humility. Yeah. And look, the thing is that I felt that Ian's skills were not being scaled. And you know how, like we were talking about here yesterday, I don't really much get involved in anything now that's not scalable. And that's why we've made this super conference like all about social media, because that's how you can scale, you know, online. And when I said to Ian, let me have a look at your training, let me have a look at your training program, they are knockout. He can get conversion rates for car dealerships that may have been sitting on 30% up to 80% like within a couple of months, just because the training program he puts them through. We're talking about the salesman at the front end selling cars, you know. So instead of selling 3 out of 10 inquiries, up to 8 in 10 inquiries. The guy's a genius when it comes to closing. But as he said, their marketing skills, and Mel would say the same thing, weren't as anywhere near as savvy as his sales closing skills. And I said to him, listen, your sales closing skills are like off the planet. The statistics, why are you doing just cars? Why would you not scale? And I said to him, why don't you would those same sales skills be relevant for retailers or for hospitality or agriculture? Or what about the homes business? One of your biggest clients now is
Green Homes Australia.
Yeah.
So what they do is Green Homes Australia have got, they sell franchises to builders. So they're just normal knockabout chippies. And we got involved with Green Homes Australia about 2 years ago. And as they sell a franchise to a builder, the builder's a great builder, but he's got no idea how to sell. So our program, we've actually, we can white label our program. So a big company like Green Homes Australia, and they're actually now Green Homes International, we call it the Green Homes Sales and Leadership Academy. Okay, so as they're selling their franchises to other builders, they now have a sales and leadership academy. So a builder can say, yeah, but I can't sell. And against all their competition, their competition have a sales and leadership academy, which is ours. And now our sales and leadership academy is the price for our sales and leadership academy is implemented into their franchise fee. So when they buy the franchise, they automatically get us for 12 weeks. And then ongoing after that. So that's, and these guys have just opened up in New York, and we're doing New York with them, and the rest of the US as they open up through the states.
So how far apart is a home construction business to a car dealership? Like 1,000,000 miles away. And what Ian wasn't doing that I could see is that he was not exploiting the skills, the unique skills that he and Mel have across any other industry, which is nuts. It'd be like me only looking after dentists or doctors or butchers or bakers. It's crazy, because you've seen here the principles of this direct response marketing thing, which is based on 5 components. First one is highlighting someone's problem. The second one is aggravating that problem. The third one is providing them with a solution. The fourth one is providing them with proof, which is normally testimonials. And the fifth one then, of course, is repetitive trade. And so the thing is, call to action. So number 1, problem, I've got a headache. Have you got a headache? Oh, yeah, I've got a headache. Well, number 2, aggravate that problem. You know what, if you don't get rid of that headache, that's probably going to make it worse and you just won't be able to concentrate. Number 3, I've got the solution. It's called Panadol. And number 4, we've got proof. Lady says, I had a headache. Now it's gone in 10 minutes. We don't care about the features. You can put paracetamol and codeine, put cocaine in there. I don't care. The headache's gone in 10 minutes, right? And the 5th thing is, of course, call to action. If you want to go to your local pharmacy or ring this number, what it is, and we've got the headache card. So it's really, really systemized. Now that problem solution formula will work for anyone. And he has his own herbs and spices formula for converting sales. In other words, I get the people to come into the car dealership. He will show the salesman how to convert at high levels. But what Ian wasn't doing was picking up that formula and doing what we're doing here. I'm giving it to a butcher, a baker, a wrinkle cream company, a medical center, a furniture shop, the same formula. And so I'm milking the crap out of that formula across all of these industries. And that's crazy for Ian to be in that league in terms like I've dealt with 1 million salespeople. You can imagine, I was the national marketing guy at Woolworths. So therefore, you know, a lot of years ago, but I've built with a lot of salespeople and most of them are one-trick ponies. Most of them one-trick ponies. You know, the thing is I could see that there were skills that Mel and Ian had that would just suit any industry, but they were blinkered. Who thinks in their business at the moment you might be a little store blind because you're just in your business? I mean, we all know, so am I. I mean, there's the odd occasions I'm doing this song and dance, and I don't know what I've told you. I should not give you any ammunition, but I'll step down off the stage, and Jody, who's my PA, will come up to me and say, you know, all that stuff you said they needed on the website, and they had to have this and this. I said, yeah. She said, you don't have that on your website. Shut up and whisper, you know. Right? So, you know, we're all hypocrites. We're all, you know, what is it? The plumber's got the leaking pipes. That's just the way it is. The car mechanic drives a bomb, all that. So therefore I fall into the same category. And that's why, you know, I try and go to as many of the right sort of events as I can. I mean, it's a bit tough when you're in the seminar game. There's a lot of one-trick ponies. But when I saw what Ian and Mel had, I said, mate, you're crazy. You've got to get out of just doing car dealership. And I didn't realise that he might listen to me so heavily, because I thought maybe, oh, well, you can go, 70-30, keep 70% of your income with car dealerships and just, just chip away at maybe retail or hospitality. How much now of your total income is car dealerships?
30% cars and 70% not automotive.
There you go. So that's in the space of 3 years. And most of that has been because of Mel, his wife, who's sitting down the back there, of course. Ian does bugger all. So I think Mel does it all, because all the emails and the inquiries I get are from Mel. I don't know what the hell you do. But can I ask you this? The comfort of having this stuff done for you. So Mel, you know that when you sent through, look, we've got a magazine advertisement in one of the big car dealerships magazines, or we think about doing a Facebook page. There hasn't been too many times, I would imagine, that you call upon assistance for the layout and the copy and all that sort of stuff, that it's not back to you normally within a day or two. Would that be fair to say? Yeah. Okay. Mel doesn't have a microphone, but I think she's nodding.
Yeah.
Well, she's nodding off, actually. No, yeah. But you would see that. I know that Mel does a lot of that front end stuff for you, but is it comfortable to just have that done for you service sitting there?
It's just easy, because it's, we did, and I think it was about 3 or 4 months ago, we did 10 ads up for one of the online magazines that we did. And Mel sent it all through to you. You've done your bit. We sent it on to Mui, and we had them all back. So within 3 or 4 days, we have 10 ads for this online magazine, and we just pick and choose them now and just put them through. But the beauty with it is that we sort of had an idea what we wanted in the ads, but you just give it to this guy. And if I had to go and pay a marketing guy to do it, then we've got to pay that on top of it. But we just got this guy that we just, anything we want to do with marketing, but it enhances our business and grows our business, which is what we like about it. Because actually, where there's other sales coaches out there, they might rank here. We rank up here because of what we bring to the table, because we've got access to people like JD. So that makes a hell of a difference.
One last thing, because I think you've blown enough wind up my ass now, but just one last thing. And that
I actually thought I was just coming here for lunch, and then you put me up here.
And I conned you into saying something nice, yeah. But one thing is that brand persona. I'd like to think that one of the big benefits are that we've taken, because, Desley, do you mind? You weren't here beforehand, but Desley has what is like a miracle wrinkle tablet. So you take a couple of these tablets and you look 10 years younger, like within an hour, apparently. Yes, that's right. Okay. And Desley's laughing because I'm making that part up, but it is an extraordinary, product, apparently. But of course, what she just was kind enough to say before we went to the break, she said, you know what, I'm a good technician. I came up with all the herbs and spices in here, but I've realized since being involved with this that I should have got the marketing looked after, because that's a shit box. Okay, that doesn't look like it's a David Jones wrinkle, sort of eradicator. And she realizes that. And of course, she realizes that from an online point of view, perhaps the website doesn't look as upmarket and classy. In your instance, your website went from shit to gold, didn't it? Pretty quickly.
Yeah, we did. We had a website. The guy that designed our website for our dealerships, we got him to put one together for us. And we were running that for 6 or 8 months. And then we got involved with JD, and we put a website together. So I checked this yesterday. The last 12 months, I just went back 12 months, and I've got Google Analytics. Our website has a 3.3% bounce rate.
Now, that won't mean a lot to you unless I say to you that the average bounce rate of anyone who comes onto our program sits at about 70-something%. And that means 70% of people who are going onto their homepage are bouncing off without going to another page. So all the money they're spending on Google AdWords, or they're spending on SEO, or they're spending on whatever, Facebook, driving traffic to their homepage, if you've got a 60, 70, 80% bounce rate, that means 60 or 70 or 80% of people who come onto your homepage think you're boring and they bounce off. They've never looked at any of your other pages. And I can just about guarantee you, everyone here in the room, unless you've listened to a few things that we've told you to do, will be sitting on a 60 or 70% bounce rate. And your bounce rate was and is now, it was
3.3%.
From where was it? 50, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it could have been like 50 or 60% from before. But the other thing was that when we scaled out to other businesses, our website was ianparker.com.au. Then as we scaled out to other businesses, we put one to the autoacademy.com.au, which we just went to JD. So, okay, we're going to make one specific for cars. And then we did the other one, which is Ian Parker International, which is our non-automotive sales training. And again, JD just puts it all together and just does it. Well, that's the beauty of it. We don't have to think about how we redo this website. We just.
But also too, I think again, it's being very boastful, but I mean, the website that Ian and Mel had was Big W. It was Big W Kmart. And yet he wants to charge a reasonable fee for his training programs. And you can't charge Holden Statesman fees if your car looks like a Commodore. You just can't. And that's why the first thing that I would suggest to Desley with that wrinkle product is just take that up to, David Jones level, and you sort of watch what happens. Even if you just do that, just watch happens, because I know that if I was to pick this up and put it in front of your target audience, which are going to be hopefully rich women over 40, then that will not be a big turn on. Whereas if that was looking like something out of the exclusive David Jones store or Palazzo Versace, it's a whole different game. Okay. So in Ian's instance, I could see that the websites were not in any way, shape or form communicating the value that you would get. So therefore I just said to him, look, let's take this up to David Jones. And that's what these guys did. I mean, their dream clients in that respect was they actually do stuff. And that'll be the final thing I'll ask you, is that when I do suggest things to you, and I don't know what the hit rate is, but it would be something like 7 out of 10, I would imagine. I mean, it's a pretty good hit rate. You're never going to have 100%, but you guys actually act, or should I say Mel acts on that pretty damn quick.
She does all the work.
Yeah.
No, but it does work. But and as you say, not everything works, but you try it, it works. And I'll just finish with this. The website that JD redesigned for us and did everything, we picked up an international client from overseas that actually went to our website when he connected with me on LinkedIn, went to our website and was only impressed about the size of our website and thought the size of the presence we had here in Australia. We signed him up, and he's got 10 businesses in another country, and now we do all their work.
Wow.
And it was all because of the perception that our website, there's only 2 of us, and we do it all, but because we've got a lot of ours online, but that was the perception of how it is. So, the guy, as I said, that's why we keep hanging around, because these days we probably don't get 80 or 90% from the guy, but it's those 1 and 2 and 3%ers when we want him, that it's just there, that if you've got to go and find that different person again, it's just all too hard. So
and the great thing with that overseas business, with the 10 businesses, is they're 10 pornography businesses, aren't they? Which is...
I did think you were going to declare that in front of everyone here, and Mel didn't know that because I actually said they were Women's Weeklies.
And you're doing a contra deal. Thanks. Okay. Can you put your hands together for Ian? Thank you. I appreciate that. And look, I do appreciate the fact that Ian, and am I boasting or trying to sell the masterclass? Of course I am. God, we've got to put food on the table just like you people. But the thing that probably frustrates me, and I was talking to Michael outside, because Michael, who's on this table here, he's got to leave a little bit early. He said, I'm not going to be around to have that lunch and hear about this stuff. Can I just talk to you outside? And he said, I promise I'm not going to invite you for a coffee, which is good. Yeah. And he was just telling me about his business. And because a lot of what his business is which is an RTO business, is governed by the by the government, they've screwed around with that whole industry like crazy in the last few years, almost like the pink bat thing. And I said to him, well, the good news for you is that I've got a mate in Sydney who's exactly in your business. And I've also had about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 of RTO style businesses around in the last 3 or 4 years. So I can suggest that you might like to consider blump, 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 blump. And Michael, can I just ask you, I know it was a little sales meeting at the table out there. Can you just tell me that in that, 5 minutes, did you learn a bit in just that 5 minutes?
It was fantastic. So it gives me clarity and focus, and that's what I need, is the clarity and focus to move forward. So I'm looking forward to it.
Just because you are saying nice things about me, could you move the microphone a bit closer to your mouth in case someone down there didn't hear it? I'm trying
how's
to
that?
express them as well.
Do I get paid afterwards or no? Okay. Yeah.
I told you it's a Carlton and that's it.
Yeah. No, I just had a quick 5-minute chat with JD outside, and it was good because it's probably he's on autopilot. He's done it so many times. I can tell he's done this over and over again, and it just gives me clarity and focus moving forward to have access to a resource like that. It's very helpful.
Carlton Crown Lager, we delivered about 4, I believe. It's up there. Okay, yeah. No, and look, the reason I'm showing off about that is because I don't know if too many people would do that. If you go to a doctor and say I've got a sore knee, normally because they've done it on autopilot, it just said they can say you got gout. Okay. And that's a little bit like this. We've done everything. The only thing I haven't done A to Z would be a zoo. So I haven't done a zoo, but everything else, pretty much, I try and look like the wizard. But you know what I do? I just go to the filing cabinet and pull out the last pharmacy or 10 pharmacies that I did, give it to whoever the pharmacy owner is, and he thinks I'm a genius. But he should have thought that like 10 years ago when I did it for the first guy, right? So you don't care whether I go to the filing cabinet. You don't give a shit. You just want the plan. You just want the damn plan. So when Michael was saying, oh, look, it's a bit of an unusual industry here, RTO, I can just go straight away. Look, bang, you do this, do that, you do that. And you know what I said to him? Because his target audience is the same as mine, which are businesses that are doing X dollars through to X dollars. So let's say in his instance, he's looking for business owners that are doing $500,000 through to 10 million or whatever it may be. What do you think, given that my sort of target audience is very similar to Michael's, what do you think the instant piece of advice I would give to him, given that my model is very similar to his model? Who wants to take a stab at what I would have told him to do? Just steal my model. Just do it. I said, mate, you're going to be the easiest X dollars I'm going to make, because I'm just going to, photostep my thing, Xerox it, give it to you and charge you money for it. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care whether I've just got that in the filing cabinet. Because he wouldn't have that. I said to him, the last thing you want to do, because his gestation period for decision makers, because he's dealing sometimes with the bigger businesses where they've got to have a meeting and a committee meeting. I said, no, you don't want to go near them. You want to go near these people, all these people. Because guess what? They don't have a Coca-Cola sized business. They can make the decision themselves. So what you need to do is invite them to come to dinner and just have 12 of them. So you wouldn't have this size room maybe, but you just come to dinner. You do your song and dance in front of them of how you're going to help them with training their staff and making sure that there's no sexual harassment in the workplace and this, that, and the other, da, da, da. I know that's not a big part of your business, but you touch on whatever things that you actually got the expertise at. And then guess what? Because they are running a $4 million business or $3 million, and they realize that if they don't have you on board, they are going to be, if you like, open to some problems, and you're going to help their sales staff have the right mindset. Because can you just, this is important, I want to get this across. Can you, Michael, in an elevator pitch, just explain what your training will help a business owner do, okay? The benefits. Nice and close to you.
So we focus on the root causes that keep people in conflict and poor performance. And the root cause is very similar to what you were talking about before. It's based on individual psychology and applied psychology and all the rest of it. But we have a very simple leadership system to eliminate conflict and poor performance in the workplace. And the wow factor is that it translates across to the home. So, if you've got teenagers and kids growing up, you start to have conflict with them. This system applies in the home as well as in the workplace. So you can build better relationship and focus on better performance in your home life as well as at work.
Okay, so therefore, I said to Michael, thanks, mate. I said to Michael, have you advertised, that sort of stuff? He said, yeah, look, I've just wasted my time. I realized that what I am is what you said, pretty much most people are. I'm a good technician. I'm really, really good at this, but I'm shit at marketing. I just, and he said also too, unfortunately, he has erectile dysfunction, but I mean, I didn't go into that. I said, well, that would be probably someone else you'd need to go to. I don't get involved in that. Oh, that's right. You said that was confidential. But anyway, so I said to him, well, what have you said in these ads, And he just basically said, oh, well, I'm an RTO, this, that, and the other. I said, when you've just given, you're very much like, would I be fair to say that you're a combo of Anthony Robbins plus, if you like, the best sales guy in the country sort of stuff, And you go, well, yeah, sure. No, I won't bother drawing it up because I'll take too long. But I said to him, okay, well, perhaps it didn't work for you. Your advertising didn't work for you, whether it's Facebook, because you didn't have a headline which says, well, first of all, can you give your name to everyone? I wish we had two microphones, but can we have, can you give your name and an elevator pitch? So I am Michael, and if you had a headline, it would be, I am Michael, and I can do this for your business. Just something like it was an elevator pitch. What would it be?
I'm Michael. We can help you to eliminate conflict and poor performance so that you can get high performance out of your people, reduce turnover, better outcomes for clients.
And you would also inspire people from a personal development point of view?
Yep.
Could you say that? Yeah.
Okay. And the skills that we teach through our system will translate over into home life as well.
Good. So it's personal development with business development. Did everyone get that? Okay. So therefore, do you think that a headline will get someone's attention on Facebook and there'd be a picture of Michael here? Okay. So he's there. And the 20% text ruling is there. Do you think that if that 20% rule there on textbook said regarded as the Anthony Robbins of Australia, would you like to have dinner with him? Who would go to that dinner? Okay, so there you go. So therefore, now whether you be as bold as that, obviously Michael has to determine, but that is going to have the wow factor headline that will make people stop and go, wow, I have to talk. And of course, underneath the ad here, it'll be the longer version of the elevator pitch that you did. But the thing is that, you know, that orange juice will get attention if it says, despite rumours, we guarantee there are no sexual stimulants in this orange juice. You're going to buy that orange juice, all right? It's at least going to get your attention. And so therefore it's the 3-second rule. It's all about 3 seconds. And you'd agree, Emil? Yeah, okay, good. I thought he had a bad back then. He was you're trying to turn yourself on.
I had to make a
Wouldn't be
gag
the
out of
first
the
one.
3 seconds.
Good. But it is, it's the 3-second rule. And of course, it's the headline rule. So I think Michael just, and you know, he's ended up signing up anyway, so I don't need to blow wind up his ass too much. But the thing is that in 5 minutes, why? Because it's just, as you said, autopilot. We just do it all the time, So now what we thought we'd do, if you don't mind, is have a hot seat. Anybody up for a hot seat? Good. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm not sure where I put that bit of paper, Gar, but you've got 3 companies that you picked out, and we're going to give one a shot. Thank you. And you could have just read it out to me, but anyway, so it's right. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So, okay, so what we're going to do is, okay, here it is here. Havebettersexforlife.com. That's not right. I made that one up. Okay. What we'll do is, give me a second. Okay. Paul, where's Paul Cunningham? Oh, Paul, of course, that's right. Well, good, mate. We're not doing yours. Paul, can you pop up if you don't mind? You don't mind doing, but first of all, Paul, I've got to ask you, do you have any feelings? Do you have any feelings? Good. Okay, that's good. Yeah, exactly. You'll be there. Good. No, we don't need a stool. We're very fine to stand up, but we will need another microphone. So therefore, if we've got a microphone, or Michael's got one here, I'll give you this one.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't put it on. That's all right. I didn't put the headset on thing. Okay, I'll go and put it on. I'll wait.
Hey, Magoo, you've...
Joseph, can we do that? Hey, Emil. Isn't it terrible when you're sarcastic? You actually give points to other people that get a point. Can we bring up that website of Paul's if you don't mind?
Maybe just to get things rolling. Just to get things rolling while JD's getting himself organised, do you want to talk us a little bit through what your business is and what you do?
Okay, so what we do, we sell kitchenware, but our main focus is a set of waterless cookware. So our story is most people at the moment, they're got 3 or 4 saucepans on top of the stove. They're losing all their vitamins and minerals by boiling the vegetables away, and then they're surfing up food that's second rate to their kids and their family. Whereas the way we cook, you've got a couple of tablespoons of water, you put all the vegetables in there together, you wait until it whistles, then you turn the temperature down. So the food turns out beautiful, looks fabulous.
Just microphone closer to your mouth.
Yeah, looks fabulous, tastes fabulous. And that's part of our story. And then our other part of our story is that our, you're making me embarrassed, I can't even look.
Yeah, just before JD does rip the shit out of that.
Yeah.
we know what we're going to say about the banner.
Yeah.
Most of that there are all your features. Look at the nice shiny cookware.
Yeah.
And-
Okay. And so our other story is that our product's incredibly versatile. So what most people will do in life, they'll go and buy saucepans, fry pans, cake tins, casserole dishes, serving units, storage units, roasters, Dutch ovens, double boilers, steamers, sterilisers. They buy all this gear that they're forever going to be replacing. Whereas what we do, we've got the whole lot that stacks in about 20 inches of cupboard space, lasts for the rest of their life. So it's got a great story.
Oh, then let's just pick on that. So it's got a great story. Is anybody seeing a great story on there at the moment? No. Okay. So and I know you've got a new website underway, so it's unfair what we're doing. I understand that.
No, it's perfectly fair because this is a perfect example of my wife. We're very, very busy in our business, and we had a general manager, and he took responsibility for putting the website together. He wasn't a salesperson; he's a general manager.
Yeah, and that's all my sarcasm aside. That's what happens. We all do that, and we get store blind because we give someone else a job, but they end up being an operationally minded person, and most general managers are. When Disney decided to get a general manager after a bit of a bad trot, many years ago, they got a guy called Frank Wells, and he was running Paramount Pictures at the time. And he came over and he had the interview with Disney, and he was the chief financial officer for Paramount Pictures. And then he went in to be the CEO, and Disney pinched him. And he said, look, I'm not your man. He said, I'm the accountant. I'm the nerdy accountant who's a very, very good general manager. But this is Disney. You need a creative guy. So I suggest you pinch a guy called Michael Eisner. Has anyone ever heard of Michael Eisner? He used to run Disney for quite a number of years. So Eisner came in and they asked him, would he take the job as CEO? And the Frank Wells guy said, I'll be number 2. I'll be the CFO. But you've got to have the crazy guy running the business. I'll be the guy bringing him down from the sky, which is pretty much our marriage, seriously. Throughout all the years, I don't think their kids would have eaten as much as if they didn't have Gail married to me saying, no, I don't think we'll put the house on that one. Come back down from the sky, you know. So you need the crazy guy running the show and the other guy, and Disney went ahead leaps and bounds. Whilst Eisner was doing it, Disney just went ahead leaps and bounds. So I believe that, you know, a lot of general managers come from an operational mindset, which means that they're left brain, and you're not going to get a lot of ideas out of them. They'll just look at that and go, oh, it's pretty, some pots and pans, that's what we sell, so I reckon that's going to knock things over. And they'll forget that this here is the headline, but it's hidden in the body copy. Because you read it, okay? Discover how you can save time, money, and effort and actually enjoy yourself in the kitchen. Now, if that's not a headline, I don't know what is. And yet it's hidden in the body copy because they thought that we didn't know what, you know, fry pan, what they are, things with lids on them look like, okay? I've never been in a kitchen, so I don't know. So I can make toast, though. I can do that. Okay, so therefore, let me just say, can we scroll down if you don't mind? Okay, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, so therefore, classic case of F over B, and the F stands for features. So it's all about the features. No, it's not. Who do you think would be the target audience for this product? Women, okay. And what age group do you think they are? Because this ain't cheap, I would imagine. So what do you reckon they'd be, like 19, 21? No? There you go.
30.
There you go. So therefore, your target audience is not even seen in the ad. So if I come on there, I'm not building any relationship with a lady who's over 40. So she needs to be rich. She looks like she drives a BMW. The kids go to private school. She's got 2.3 kids. They always have a 0.3. I don't know what. And she has a bucket load of money. And she's a brand person. She's probably someone that really is into brands. Okay, she probably wears nice dresses and the whole thing. And yet we're not seeing her on there at the moment, which is nuts. But it's the same mistake that real estate agents make, because guess what? You've never seen a person that's ever in that house. They just sell ghost houses. And if they're selling a house for $2 million, I would have thought they'd show a BMW in the driveway with someone getting out of it that's good looking, because I said rich people are normally, and then they'd see the kids in the pool, all good looking kids, and so on. But no, they don't feature any humans in their ad. They're trying to get someone to pay $2 million. I can't believe it. You know? Okay, so therefore, what we were, Amel, did you have a question for Paul?
Yeah, how much does this cost, by the way?
Look, most people spend between 2.5 to 4.5 with us.
All right.
1,000, yeah.
2.5 to 4,500 for the product. So who thinks at the moment, I know you're doing a new website at the moment, so therefore, unfortunately, it's because we don't have access to that, do we, at the moment?
No, actually, but your criticism is fair, because once again, we've been saying, like, I actually
Just
wish
be closer, Paul.
I actually wish we just removed the website, because it's of no value to us whatsoever.
At the moment.
Yeah, and I don't think it has been. I think, in fact, it probably costs us business.
Yeah, but Paul, it's really relatively easy to make it the most valuable thing in the world for you.
Yeah.
I mean, because you know, sitting there saying, well, and I know you're being sarcastic like me, but I might as well move because you're not going to do it. Who thinks that, you know, given the audience of Sanctuary Cove women here, who thinks this and they're short on time, who thinks that them being able to go to a website that talks in their language would be immense value for these guys? Absolutely, you know, as it is and should be for all of us. I mean, I can't, you know, when I see people opening up a bricks and mortar shop these days, a restaurant or a cafe or anything, I go, oh my God, have they not sort of looked what's happening? Because, you know, Sears in America, the major retail chain, just went broke last week. And have you seen the annual results from David Jones and Myer? I mean, Amazon's coming to get you. Okay, that's it. We get everything delivered these days. Okay, so therefore, if someone's spending between 2.5 and 4.5, we know what they look like and what their demographic profile more likely would be. And just even in that sense, with you guys, would you find that you've got a trend analysis that's telling you that there's certain postcodes are where the majority of sales are coming from? Have you been able to analyse that and look at it?
No.
Okay, but I bet you'll find that they're coming from, I just say Sanctuary Cove for the sake of getting the message across, but I bet you'll find that a lot of your sales are coming from the richer suburbs.
No.
They're not?
Well, John, we do shows. So, like, for instance, we did the, Royal Easter show, we do the Melbourne show, we do the Brisbane Ekka, and Yeah, and we finance. So we sell this on the fact that it's going to cost you $4 a day.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we sell every demographic.
All right.
But if I asked you then, who was your ideal target audience? Because now we know there's a finance plan,
Yeah.
then people without teeth can actually get this stuff, all right? So now I know that, or maybe you just draw the line there, you don't really want those people. And so therefore, yeah, it's $4 a day. Who thinks $4 a day to have this extraordinary, I don't know anything about cooking utensils, so therefore, you know, forgive my ignorance, but who thinks $4 a day for this quality of stuff is like a knockout deal?
Easy.
Or would you rather pay $4.5 or $4 a day? Who goes for the $4 a day? Yeah, okay, right. And Paul, can I ask you elevator pitch style, like Michael did before? How would you describe your cookware again? I know that Emil's asked you that, but can you just say it again? It is prestige. It is boutique.
It's a way of preparing your food so it's a lot better for you. It's smart in the way that it's incredibly versatile. Like I said to you before, you're not buying all these other items. You've got the saucepans, fry pan, cake tins, casserole dish, on and on and on and on, all in the one set that you're not continually replacing. And in fact, I probably use the analogy of a mobile phone. You know, look at a mobile phone today. It does everything for you. It's incredibly versatile. We sell the cookware through the same story.
All right, quick question then. Have you done any research into why people actually buy? Of the people that buy from you, have you worked out why? Is it the ease of cleaning? Is it the convenience of having everything in one pack?
No,
or is it the
so
health?
once upon a time, we had a card that we filled out every time a salesperson did a presentation.
Yeah.
And so we sell it from the health benefits.
Yeah.
You know, like why should you, have more nutrients in your diet and all this sort of stuff. So we sell it from that perspective. And we also sell it strongly from the versatility and the long warranty and all this sort of stuff. And because I was always incredibly health conscious myself, I always thought, my goodness, people are buying this from the health aspect. However, on this card that we used to get the salespeople to fill in every time we did a presentation, they always wrote down there, oh, we love the versatility. So that's the reason why I'd say most people buy it.
Now, isn't that a classic case if you think you know your customer and then it turns out that they're telling you something totally different when you ask?
Yeah.
All right, so they like the versatility of it all. So that's going to be, CJD's already ahead of us. Look at that.
Can I butt in?
Yeah, sure.
I'm Tracy, Paul's
Right onto it.
Tracy, you do all the work, of course. You're the brains of the organisation.
Absolutely. I think the most important thing is it keeps the nutrients in the food, because we've got a saying that people commit 3 acts of murder every day in the kitchen. They skin them alive, boil them to death and pour the evidence down the sink.
Love it.
And so we actually do a little cooking demonstration every time, either at a show or in the home. And when kids sit there and the mother goes, no, Johnny doesn't eat carrot, or Johnny hates broccoli, but then Johnny eats our carrot and our broccoli, that it's a sale, because they go, oh my God, Johnny actually, because we haven't destroyed the vegetable. It's like a raw carrot.
How does it actually happen that you don't destroy the, like what's the technical
It cooks in a
thing?
vacuum. So because it's 5 layers of metal all around, so you've got surgical steel on the inside and you've got 3 layers, and it's the construction, and then it seals. So you let it whistles, just 4 tablespoons of water, then we turn it down. So it's cooking in a vacuum, and anything in a semi-vacuum boils at a lower temperature, keeps the vitamins, you're not throwing the colour, you're not throwing it out down the sink.
Who reckons that's a unique product?
Yeah, it is. And
how many people are interested, by the way?
but
$4
the
a day.
opposite of a pressure cooker, but we're not telling anyone about it. This is our little secret, you see.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
but you
I
are. I
think-
bet you, Tracy, you get a pretty good conversion rate at the Royal Easter Show. Do you get a good-
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so what I'd be doing is videoing that and making that on your website.
Well,
There we go.
exactly. And today I've started to do a few little YouTubes myself just to our clients. But yeah, I think definitely we were talking about doing the webinar.
Yep.
So
Perfect.
like, for example, we'll get a lead. We'll call the lead to try and make an appointment for a salesperson to go to the home. But you can't get everybody together. So
No.
the
And
ones
Paul's
that,
not, Paul's not allowed in a lot of those homes either, which is
No.
another issue.
well, we don't, we've got a sales
That's
team that
true.
does all of that, which is another whole story. Yeah.
Oh,
Running all of those guys and teaching them,
we've opened up a wound. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's okay. You know, we've got a few snakes and
Yeah.
Ethel.
But can you see here that if we had a headline from this lady here who's attractive, she comes from Sanctuary Cove, she's a 40-something plus, and she might even have a couple of kids in the background, okay? And she says, I've got, now don't take this literally, I've written in 2 seconds,
No.
but yeah, I've got 5-star cookware. So we're up there with Versace that delivers the healthiest, most nutrient meals on the planet for just $4 a day. Now that's got to get your attention. Then underneath that, it's a nutrient breakthrough at last. Now you might have had the breakthrough back like 10 years ago, but who knows, right? So at last,
42.
Oh, yeah, right, okay, yeah. So therefore, it's a breakthrough. Who's always, it gets your attention if I say I've got a breakthrough. Of course, I've got a breakthrough. So the word breakthrough is a winner. Then you have that video. There you got your pots and pans around the place, but you've got the video because people always say to me, "Oh, we do great at trade shows." Because people come up to the trestle tables and they take our Smarties, and then they actually hang around because that's important. They hang around and we do the Joe the Gadget Man thing, right? And then they go, "Oh, I'll take one of those." You go, "Okay, well, if you're doing a better conversion by doing it, why don't you just video that and put that damn thing on your website?" And they go, "Wow, that makes sense." Yeah, sort of. So therefore, what I would do is something like that. And what I do is even when people make inquiries, because you want to pretend you care, just like I do, then what you need to do is probably have, if it's Paul, I don't know who does it. I mean, do you do your own videos or some other presenter does it, like a Kerry Ann Kennelly or someone?
Both.
Both. At the moment, we've got some videos which
Let's
are
say
just
Paul. Let's say
Yeah,
Paul.
okay.
So what I would do, and this is on the back of the Elvis thing last night, because Mark asked, would we do this? And I said, yeah. He would do it because he's customized. You don't want to do a customized thing. You want to have that one raw list to show thing here, which you've cut down to maybe, I don't know, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it might be. But you want whoever's doing that at the show, let's say it's Paul in that blue shirt, he actually is in that blue shirt. Now, you probably wouldn't even do these to show, you just do a green screen. Okay, so you do one
yeah,
video.
just do it. We've got a little kitchen. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So he'd be
right.
in the kitchen and Paul would say, look, thank you. Let me see. Thank you. Your name is? Julia. Okay. So thank you, Julia. Thank you very much for inquiring about our kitchen stuff. Let me just take this through with you. And he walks left of screen and then the recording comes on in the same shirt. Is she going to feel good that he's spoken direct to her? She thinks she's put the video together just for her? You better believe it. And all he's done is gone through the alphabet. You know how you go into those gift stores these days and you can buy little name plates for everything? He just goes through the alphabet and does every possible name that there is. You're going to have a good time probably with a lot of Asian names, but anyway, that'll be interesting. Yeah. So they go through that and then use it knock over, I don't know, 200 intros. But when they get that video emailed with that link, they think you've done it for them. How important are they? You're saying, hi, Julie, hi, Helen, hi, whatever. You walk off camera because the camera then goes on the pots and pans and it's the same video for everyone. How personalised would that be?
Sorry, John, I didn't get. So how do you actually put the person's name in there?
You just record an intro of 200 names or 300 or 400. I mean, and this
I
is where
understand.
the implementation thing comes in because you guys have got a multi-million-dollar business, so I don't think you'd have this attitude. But a lot of people who are startups, what you expect me to give up a whole day and stand in front of and just go, hi, Julie. You go through the alphabet. Hi, ladies' names, of course, but it would be, hi, Helen, hi, Julie, hi. Yes, I do expect you to sit there for a day and bloody do it. Because Ian, you weren't doing webinars before you came along and hang around with this mad crew. How often are you in front of the green screen doing webinars with Mel now? How many times a month? 2 or 3 times. A month? And you knock out around about 2 or 3 months worth at that time? You got it. That's what I do. I go in and we have a studio here on the Gold Coast, which costs me $700 for a day. I can't believe how we can make money, to be honest with you. And I'll go in that's crazy. And that's editing, everything done. I just sit in front of the green screen and out, and I'll have webinars going out in Los Angeles and all sorts of places. I'm not going to use that term because it's really cool to make money while you sleep. But the fact is that that's what happens. At the end of each of these webinars, I sell them into a program, not the ones that you've got, it's an online program thing. And I'm sitting home doing something else. So in your instance, what I would do is just suck up that day that you're going to waste, stand in front of the kitchen, do hi, Julie, hi, Helen, hi, Joan, hi, whatever. And then that's it. The rest of the webinar the rest of the video past that is your normal standard video. And all it is cut. So therefore, let me just say, for example, you just say hi, Helen, for argument's sake. Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Helen.
Okay. Then once he's done that, in comes the close up on the pots and pans, and it comes back to Paul being in the kitchen whenever he recorded it. But he's got the same shirt on for obvious reasons. So it looks like it's been produced just for Helen.
Yep.
I mean, who thinks that if something looks like it's been, as far as you're concerned, it has been, because we're only saying it looked like because we know what the secrets are. Who thinks if you get a customized video from the owner of the damn business, you'd feel pretty special? Yeah. I mean, in my instance, I mean, I'm making out that I'm anything bloody special at all. The thing is, though, is that people get quite an interesting, there was a guy the other day who's on the smaller program. He's not on the masterclass program, so you don't normally get this sort of treatment. But he put a question through on the Facebook page, and I was having a cup of tea behind the computer. Bing, I saw it came up. And so I just picked up the phone and rang him, and he got blown away by that. He, wow. You ring me? I said, yeah, well, I reckon you ought to do this, this, and this. If I put it on Facebook, it would have taken me like forever over lunch for two-finger type. I thought I might as well tell you, well, a bit like what Michael was outside. Why don't you just do this, 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 and this? So therefore, for you to give them a customized video welcome to the potential knockout.
Actually, I thought after today, Don, you made me think about going back to the infomercials.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that if you said to me, like, we can get time in Dubbo or Tamworth for $45.
Yep.
Because I'll tell you a story about how you do things sometimes in life. And like, we used to have Bernard King as part of our team. And so we had Bernard do a couple of cooking presentations for us. We ran them up in Cairns. Tracy and I were there with the sales team. And we thought, oh, look, let's just drive back to Brisbane and we'll go and do all the leads on the way back. Well, we sold about $40,000 in 2 days, just ourselves, just driving back to Brisbane.
Wow.
And we thought, oh, geez, this infomercial is going to work. So we got back to Brisbane and we said, so we ran them again in a few other towns. We didn't have anywhere quite the success. And we just dismissed it and said, oh, that was too hard. Let's go back to standing at the Royal Easter Show for 2 weeks and punishing ourselves.
Exactly.
It's amazing, actually.
And Paul, hopefully what you're getting out of this weekend is the stimulus to think of scalability and automation. Because there's no way that we would make the money that we're making at the moment had I not woken up to myself a few years ago. Because I'm not, as you can clearly see, a seminar speaker. I'm not. So ours is not get them high and make them buy. Okay, I actually insult you. I don't know why you've joined. So therefore, we're quite the anti-seminar thing, and but we want to make sure that you understand we don't take ourselves too seriously, but shit, do we take what we give you seriously? Okay, we really do, and I believe that it should be entertaining, not just training. So that's why we had a bit of fun. But you know what? It wasn't until a few years ago when I said to Gail, look, we're not getting any younger. Look, we're not 25. We've got this shit that's in between these ears. It's like super duper valuable, and we have the Greater Building Society paying $34,500 a month for this stuff. Now, they got Jerry Seinfeld and they got the concept of free holiday. They made billions out of me, but I still had a 400K client, so that was good, right? And I said, but we can't keep on running at that pace, jumping planes, going to New York, doing it. Why don't we cut up this stuff into bite-sized pieces and sell it to smaller businesses and scale it? And that's what we've done. And so therefore, in my instance, I've got the smaller program where people get a little bit of me, but all my resources. Then I've got the private coaching program, which they get all of me, but they pay for it. Simple. They pay a shitload less than what they'd pay if they had me as their marketing manager full time, for God's sake. So $30K a year. If I was doing $1 million or more, I'd not even think about it. Now, here I'm doing a pitch, but I believe it's unbelievable value. But we've scaled, and everything we do now is scalable. Everything. Now look at this. How many people are in the room? I wouldn't do a coffee one-on-one anymore. It just makes no sense. So in your instance, I reckon the scalability for you, online and offline, is insane. Because the webinar thing that John's just run you through before would be insanely valuable for you, because all it is infomercial, but it goes for 30 minutes instead of 3 minutes. And the actual infomercial thing, this mate of mine in Sydney, a good mate of mine, Max, that buys the distressed space, he can deliver to you a campaign in all regional areas of Australia. And people say to me, oh yeah, but you know what, Current Affair doesn't have the same viewers that it used to. Oh, of course, okay. Well, it used to have like nationally 2.1 million viewers. Now it's only got 1.5 million. Why would you even think about it? You're a dickhead. And so therefore, when we say, oh, newspapers are on the way out, well, they might be. But guess what? The Sunday Telegraph still sells 462,000 papers every Sunday. It used to be 700,000. So what, you're going to go, well, it's gone from 700,000, we only get to 462,000 people now. Oh, well, you wouldn't use it, would you? No, that's stupid. So you've got to stop this thing where you go, well, it has to be all online. And so some people, it has to be online. But in your instance, yours could be a magical mix of online and offline. And you could be on infomercials, as in 3 minutes, in all the regional areas of Australia for a bee's dick budget. And it's available because no one else knows it's out there. No one knows it. Before I mentioned yesterday, distressed space on newspapers, magazines. I mean, the Gold Coast Bulletin here charges $7,000 for a full page of a Saturday. I've never paid more than $1,500. Sometimes I've got up to $500. Okay, people say to me sometimes, well, why would you, be advertising your stuff, which is business owners, in paper. Well, it's because my wastage factor is high. I admit that. But if you're buying it for next to nothing, you can put up with 80% wastage.
Mm.
So that's the point. If you're buying media, in other words, leads, for a ridiculously low price, so let's just say you do a 3-minute infomercial in Dubbo and you're getting that on morning TV for, you know, $100. Well, I tell you what, you can put up with a wastage of 50, 60, 80% because you're only paying $100 for that ad.
The miracle is once you've got a 3-minute spot that converts, if it converts on TV, it converts on YouTube, it converts on Facebook. See, you're, I mean, obviously you're in the demonstration business. When you demonstrate it, that's when you get, and you've got a pitch that works, that converts. So it's a matter of how can you package that up and get it profitable by Facebook, by YouTube, by TV, because that's the whole model, right? Like Ron Popeye has sold millions and millions of gizmos and gadgets, which are in the same reports category that you're in, just through demonstration, and then running those ads, and they're still running, you know, all these years later. So that is really packaging your proven pitch and then getting it out multi-channel and which channels work. Which channels
So you
don't.
do the TV first or the
Can-
webinars?
Can the TV work at those prices? I mean, why
Yeah.
would you? But
Yeah.
that same spot, I'd be seeing if you can get it to work on Facebook and YouTube as well.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly Proactive, they've been on TV for the longest time, but they can't, a lot of their audience are now not watching TV. They literally do not have a TV in their home. So they've now got to make YouTube work. So you really just got to find where your people are, and you'll find it's just though the pitch is the pitch, and you've got to test different channels to see which brings back the most friends. And there'll probably be 2 or 3 that actually you can make work profitably because you guys are proven direct sellers. You've got a great pitch, so and everything else flows from that.
And Tracy, if it sounds like a bit of a tease, but I actually hold the record for the biggest number of responses to Danos Direct ever. Okay, so we melted Danos Direct's switchboard. It was 10 nights accommodation for $99. We just melted the switchboard. And with infomercials, the great part about it is you really only do a 1-minute commercial, even though it's a 3-minute commercial. With infomercials, you do a 1-minute ad and then do a call to action, and then you do it all over again and another call to action. Then you do it all over again and another call to action.
Yeah.
And there'll be a certain amount of people after a minute already on the phone or gone to the website. And then just in case they weren't, they were sitting on the fence, then you do the same thing again. And normally it's, as John said, it's just social proof. You know, my wrinkles have gone. Oh, yeah, my wrinkles have gone. Yeah, my wrinkles.
Yeah. We've got tons and tons and tons of customer testimonials on video, which
But to show you how quick it
We
can
hide
happen,
them.
to show you how quick it can happen, and this is me again being too boastful, but Ian and Mel, when they were thinking about the webinars, I said, mate, I'll book next Tuesday, and let's just do it. I'll come down for your first one, show you how it's all done, then you just knock yourself out. And that's what happened. Tuesday, scripts were done, the thing was done. It was edited live on the spot. So, you know, I've been involved with TVSN for quite a while, the TV Shopping Network. And in fact, the guy that worked for me as a junior for me is now the senior producer for TV Shopping Network. And so he can pump out a script like 90 seconds to 3 minutes within a day. Okay. So in your instance, you'd book the studio at Currumbin. There's a green screen studio. You can put whatever you like behind your kitchen, whatever it might be. And what you can do is that you would go in there next Tuesday, Wednesday, you'd knock over 3 3-minuters. The scripts can be done within a week, easy. And then what you do is probably knock out a 20 or 30-minute as a webinar. And you walk away that day and you'd probably have everything cut up, edited, supers, sound sweetening, captions. You'd have everything in there, special effects within maybe, I don't know, 48 hours. We walked into this studio last, John Formica, who was the Disney guy.
Yeah.
The reason I was in Vegas with him a couple of weeks ago is because he hasn't scaled his business. The reason he can't take any more clients on is because he hasn't scaled. He's giving personal one-on-one coaching all the time, which is fine if they're paying a fortune, but for him, they're only paying $997 a month. That's madness for what he makes a difference. He brings Disney into your business for $1,000 a month. That's crazy. So I said to him, I'll come over and meet you in Vegas and we'll actually put together, if Disney ran your business, what will it look like, online program. And we'll just charge a certain, you'll never get to talk to John Formica, but we'll run that in Los Angeles and New York and all sorts of other places. And it'll be, if Disney ran your business, what will it look like? I picked up a few of my things and put it in there. And then we did basically 12, how many did we do, Gail? Oh, she's playing solitaire, but we did 12 monthly videos on the day that, and John Formica even said to me, like, he's a mover and shaker. He goes, how long are you going to do the video? It's about an hour. He goes, all right, we're going to do like 12 videos in an hour. And I said, yeah. And sorry, in a day. And I said, yeah. So we just hired out a nice room at the, what was it called? The Venetian Hotel, which had a nice lounge room. We just rang up anybody, like a video guy in Las Vegas. We don't know where to go. As it turns out, the guy at Currumbin knew someone. So therefore, luckily, he lived in Vegas. This guy came along, set up his cameras. John Formica and myself just sat where Joseph is there. And he said, okay, let's go. And that's what we did. We did 12 one-hour videos and broke them up into different subject matters of how you could run your business like Disney. And we'll launch that early next year. We're not in any hurry for it. I'm going to put some other bells and whistles to it. And what happens is at the end of that, we say that if you're interested in buying this $97 a month program, we'll do split testing. We'll try $97, $197, and $297. And we'll see, drive Facebook from Los Angeles, wherever it is, into it. And what will happen at the end of it, we say, if you actually order within the next 60 minutes and a clock comes on the screen, 59, 58, 57, whatever it might be, then we'll give you a bonus. And we'll split test all that sort of stuff. And John Formica, as good as you saw him was yesterday, he had not thought about scaling his business. That guy's a genius. Can you imagine if you had Disney in your name, which he's got, he should own an island, you know? And that's why he had to say yesterday, look, I don't have any more spots left, because he's been a dickhead. He admits it. I said, mate, you've been a dickhead. You've been a Disney dickhead, you know? So therefore, you know, that's that. You've got to learn to scale it. And I think you guys are sitting on like scalability like crazy, because, you know, when Bernard King was doing that for you, then, you know, obviously he brought celebrity status with him. But that was really, really a game changer, I'm sure, for you at the time. But you didn't scale it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, look, from the reason why I'm here today is because, like you said, we're getting older, and we always felt that we couldn't compete with our salespeople. So if we were doing any marketing or trying to sell in opposition to our salespeople, you know, we weren't doing the right thing by them. But the reality is now the salespeople have gone, or we've got so few salespeople.
You want
So
this
now
with
it's
the
the
salesperson.
time. Yes.
And that's it. I mean, the thing is that, you know, we're only a small show, for goodness sake. I don't have any salespeople. I've got fulfillment people.
Yeah.
And Neil's next to it. The sales just happen online, and nobody gets to ring me up. It just doesn't happen. It's not because I've got my head up my backside. It's just that would not be scalable. So that's why when people would like a coffee, no. You want to have a meeting, no. Why don't we just do it on Skype? That's easy. I can sit at my desk. You sit at your desk. We turn the damn thing on, and after 20 minutes, that's it. So it's all scalable. So therefore, if someone sees an article about my stuff in the Virgin magazine, and they ring up, they'll go through to Jody, and Jody will just say to them, okay, well, how about we send you out a form, and you'll fill the form in. It'll take you 5 minutes. It's about what turnover it is, what sort of business it is, and then we can book a call. Now, that normally sorts them out from the boys. If they're too lazy to fill out a 5-minute form to get a phone call with them, well, I'm not ever going to have a phone call with them, because they reckon that their time's more valuable than mine. So no, I reckon you fill out that form and you prove that you're fair income, and I'll have a call with you. I'm not too gracious not to have a call. It's just that you've got to fill out a form to make sure that they're qualified for that call. And if they say, I'm a uni student, I go, oh, I'm sorry, I'm overseas for 2 years. You know? And I don't have a phone, you know. Yeah. Just before we go though, what I suggest here is that, yeah, I mean, don't take too much notice of this. There'll be a lot more of it than this in there. But also here, don't just take our word for it. Because Tracy said you've got testimonial after testimonial after testimonial. And I know you're doing a new website at the moment, but it'll be interesting. Do you have on that new website up until now the plans to have a video on the homepage, or maybe not?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So your business
that's why the stalling of it, because it's just so frustrating.
I'm telling you, you could have that website finished. I would introduce you to one of, we've got a number of them, but I wouldn't probably put this one overseas. I'd do this locally. But for how many pages you've got on there? How many pages are there, Trace?
We've got an intranet on, but that's just another link.
Okay,
6, I don't know.
Okay. You'd have that 6-page website done in the space of 2 weeks, not 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, within 2 weeks, from either one of the 2 website companies that we have here locally, one on the Gold Coast or one in Melbourne. And it would look $1 million. It would have all the direct response stuff, because that's not direct response. And you'd have it probably in 2 weeks, provided you don't sit on your hands. I mean, you've got to get the information. And it would look $1 million, and you'd have that up and running in, you know, a 6-page website, 2 weeks time. That's how fast, that's what happens when you hang around the right people. And that's why I played that TV show this morning, because, you know, we're dealing with Steven Spielberg, we're dealing with Princess Diana, and we had 6 people. We knocked all that shit over because everyone, it was a locomotive. And, you know, the thing with the Greater Building Society, it was interesting. They had a reputation for being young and funky and contemporary because that was the way I did the ads. And Seinfeld can get a home loan, get a free holiday. I was a speedboat dragging an anchor. And the general manager used to come up to me and go, God Almighty, when you leave here, I have to have a holiday, you know. So, yeah, I mean, that was one meeting. That was because I'm going, we got to do this, got to do that, got to do that. And he said, you know, I'm glad you're here, but you do realise you are a speedboat dragging an anchor. And I said, yeah, I know. But that was fine. They just simply, they saw stuff work and then they caught up and they just let me have my rope, of course, let me do it. And you're not much different. You're 24/7 too, aren't you? Oh,
Yeah.
What It's like Tony Barber having a mute Nicky Buckley. You know?
I had to get something in. Yeah. Well, the next thing you'd probably be wondering is like, how do you implement all of this? How do you get it all done really, really quickly? And normally what I would do, if you take this that JD puts together, right? You get a wireframe, you get your headline, you see where everything is. You hand that to someone who's project managing it for you, maybe your general manager. If he's got the intellectual firepower to do it properly, great. If he doesn't, you need someone to be managing.
He's gone.
He's gone. Okay,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I think we've answered that question. So, for example, if it were on the program, first thing we do is we take that, we have a look at the headline, and I say to you, Paul, what are the other emotional drivers for your prospects that you can envisage? Not the ones that you think are happening because you're not your prospect. What do you think is happening? So far, you've mentioned health, versatility, durability. So we put together a suite of Facebook ads. We always start at the beginning of the funnel. We test a lot of different demographics because even when you think it's just going to be posh women in Sanctuary Cove, it turns out they could be people all over the place. We put together a suite of ads, 3 or 4 ads that test each emotional driver. We test a bunch of demographics, and then we can lock down which ones people are responding to most. Then we start developing landing pages because we've got the website already there, and it's built in such a way that you can swap in your video, you can swap in your headline, you can swap in images without working with someone who's just going to turn the egg timer on every time you want to shift a pixel. So the website gets done very, very quickly. That comes through, that gets briefed. We're working on the Facebook ads so that we can get real information about your prospects, put together landing pages so that you can really jam them into your products. And then once you've worked all of that out, then you can take that information. That's the point at which you start developing what your infomercial content's going to be, because that's obviously something that you want to test, right? Get some distressed space or get some of the cheap stuff that JD's been talking about. And because you've got all of the information from testing at the front of the funnel and seeing where your prospects are, it means that you don't end up wasting a whole lot of time on an infomercial that's not going to work. You know what the emotional drivers are, you know what your demographic is. You can put together an absolute killer infomercial. You can test a bunch of different videos on your homepage, and before you know it, suddenly the amount of information that you have about your demographic, the way that you put your pipeline together, means that you can analyze where any kinks in the hose are, and it just becomes a water spout. It's pumping leads out, leads and sales.
I'm looking forward to it.
Paul, before you go, have you thought about a spokesperson like a Kerry-Ann Kenley or someone like that? Have you thought about that or not?
Yeah, look.
We're a little bit burnt by celebrities because while Bernard King was fabulous in terms of, you know, he's very funny and all that, but we'd take him to country shows and he'd just say to people, you know, you people in Mackay are so slow, your thongs don't slap. And quite rude.
Doesn't that frighten you when people criticise others? Like,
Yeah.
No, I know, but
So unprofessional.
some of them, yeah. But he did say far worse things than that.
Oh, yeah.
Really.
I know. Well, look, my sort of
Anyway,
sarcasm,
but yes.
I do get away with it most of the time because it's a joke, for goodness sake. You know, the thing is that everyone understands it's a joke. But I think in Bernard King's instance, God rest his soul, he was full on insults, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, full on. And what we think he was drinking water, it was Stolich.
Yeah,
Stolichnaya
okay.
vodka,
Yeah.
So it was another issue. Anyway.
But the reason I say that is that, look, you saw yesterday the Jamone thing. I've done quite a few of these, and obviously Seinfeld's the biggest one. But, you know, everything from Tony Barber to Denise Drysdale to bloody Bert Newton, and the latest one was with Paddy Newton, and so on and so forth. Back in the day, Jeannie Little and all that sort of stuff. You've got to pick the right one. If your audience is across all sorts of demographics, which it appears it might be the Women's Day audience. When I had Women's Day as a client, it's a nightmare, by the way, Because what happened when Princess Di tragically got killed, of course, we couldn't put royal family on the front. And so we tried everything. They tried everything before I came along. Jennifer Aniston, George Clooney, whatever it was. The reason it was a nightmare client is because 25% of their audience were under 35, 25% were 35 to 50, 25% were 50 to 65, and 25% were in God's waiting room. So the thing is that if you actually try to put a front cover together to suit all of them, there's only one thing that does it, royal family. That's the only thing that'll go across all of those. So when that went away, they tried celebrities across the board, but there's only certain segments that celebrity will get to. So when I came along, I was lucky. I came along just when there was new babies and weddings in the royal family. So I didn't have to be that clever. I just put them up front again. In your instance, do you believe the easiest audience? So say for me, if you said who's the most profitable audience, I say, well, they're all the same. If you're going to give me either $6,000 or $30,000 a year, it's all the same. But who do I want in this room? I want white collar workers. Okay. And the reason I do is because they are used to feeding their brain. They are used to paying money to learn things. But an electrician or a truck driver or a courier, if I get him in the room, I'm wearing a sports jacket, I'm a wanker. Okay, so therefore they're going to be really skeptical and they're really hard to get across the line. I'll do just as good for his business as I will for anyone else if he joins the dots, but he's harder to get across the line. So why do I want to work that hard? So I try with my Facebook lookalike audiences to get as many white collars, doctors, dentists, accountants, all that sort of stuff, right? So in your instance, it may not be the most profitable, but who's the easiest at your Easter shows to get a sale from?
Blue collar workers,
Yeah,
probably.
blue-collar worker, yeah.
Okay.
Because
There you go.
usually you're talking about the Sanctuary Cove woman, right?
Yeah.
She's probably already gone to David Jones and spent $2,000 on saucepans, 2 or 3 on cookware, and she's got a Thermomix and she's got all these other things, whereas other people haven't necessarily.
So Betty Bankstown, you're after Betty Bankstown, who has 2 or 3 little kids, and she knows that she needs to be
As long as
healthier.
they work full time,
Yeah,
good
she
jobs,
knows
yeah.
she needs to be healthier, and she should stay off the Peter Jackson 50s
Yep.
that she stubs into the carpet, normally shag.
But
And
everybody
yeah.
really, but yeah.
So therefore, you want, I told you I'm not like Bernard King. Yeah. So therefore, if you're after Betty Bankstown, that is a dream audience, because he gets who the Great Ability Society was after, Betty Bankstown. So get a home loan, get a free holiday. Can you imagine a $250,000 bonus if they order within the next 60 minutes on your webinars? You order within the next 60 minutes to get a fence sitter off the line, and you're in for a chance to win 200. We did this last night with the wheel. For those of you who didn't come, you didn't see it, but it's so easy. So you could say, for $4,000 insurance, that's all it would cost you. You order within the next 60 minutes, and we have a bonus that you're in the chance to win a $250,000 cash prize. So she would just rush to the phone. Okay, if she's a fence sitter, I'm not saying everyone will rush that, but if she's a fence sitter thinking we'll sort of be there, $4 a week and a chance to win $250,000, I could get teeth. For
Sorry,
that.
it was $4 a day.
$4 a day.
$4 a day,
$4 a
yeah,
day. Okay, whatever it is. Yeah, but the thing is that you have got your Betty Bankstown is easier to take the eye off the price than anyone. So that with the Greater Building Society, guess what? They had 2 branches in Mossman and Manly in Sydney, and guess what? We never even ran the home loan, get a free holiday there. We never even ran it, and the reason was because they're too smart for it. They're going to go, look, just give me an interest rate reduction. We don't want to talk to those people. They could spell IQ. So we just wanted Betty Bankstown, who we could easily shift across with, the working class audience is the easiest in the world to distract them. Just ask any of the RSL clubs and leagues clubs. They see bright lights and go, I'll put my wages in there, I think. But, a high level executive doesn't
It's funny
do that.
because it's true.
Yeah. Well, it is, it's true. Yeah. Mate, thank you. Appreciate it.
No worries.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okie dokie, guys, we're going to break for lunch, but before we do break for lunch, let me just give you the summary of what the go is. If you're interested in if you're one of our academy members at the moment, you're interested in at least learning what would happen if you wanted to upgrade, we credit you for whatever you've paid, so therefore that's a pretty good deal, and we start your membership all over again. So whatever you've been involved with us and you want to start again, well that's fine. We'll just credit you for whatever you've paid. So if you paid $4,000 or $5,000, you want to upgrade to the program, we credit that to you, and we actually then basically start you again. This guy would be talking to you probably within the next week or 2 after you've filled out that questionnaire, because it's a comprehensive questionnaire, and then he'll talk to you. We'll have a meeting, and then we'll have our wheels on luggage meeting, which is pretty much me and him together. And then you get a 20 to 30 page full on customized marketing plan within 10 working days thereafter. So we work pretty fast. And the reason I've been doing what you've seen this morning is to prove to you that we work fast. Well, Paul Was that sort of worthwhile for that 15 minutes? I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah. So you see that it's a bit like Mike. I said, we're on autopilot. This stuff's pretty easy for us. It's just like if you went to a gardener, he'd tell you, what flowers to put in the garden like that. Well, we're like that too. And then what we'll be doing, if you want to stick around for lunch, is that we'll explain to you how we would then provide you with this Rolls-Royce service over the 12 months. And one of the big things of it is that you have unlimited access to us. It's not one call every month or one call every quarter and all this sort of stuff. We know that you might need heavy lifting. So Paul and Tracy said, well, you know what? We're just going to start again. Can we just get this website going? They'll milk the crap out of us, and so they should for the first month. And I won't hear from them the second month. We'll still whack their card for $2,500. But Paul will be sensible enough not to come back and go, but you didn't do anything this month. I'll say, yeah, we should have charged you 4 months worth in the first month. So that Netflix program is really, really fair. You can watch 100 movies this month and they'll hit you $17. You can go away next month and not watch a movie. They'll hit you $17. It's only fair. You watched 100 this month. You should have been charged 100 times. So this Netflix system, which I want all of you to think about doing, it's really fair for both parties. It's fair for both parties. The fact of the matter is that you will get milked on certain months if you're an advisor. And if you're an accountant, it's probably going to be close to tax time. And you can't get upset when he whacks your card the following month because you just milked 4 months out of him in the first one. So and it's the only way this can work, because the fact is that to have a call every quarter or every month, it's just not practical. You know that in your business, you're going to need some heavy lifting from us at certain times of the year. Well, we're going to be here for that, okay? And so you'll learn how you get access to us on a full-time basis whenever you want. It's not one of these calls every fortnight. If you're interested to stick around for lunch, then stick around. If it's not for you because you can't afford it, I know that not everyone can afford it, that's fine too. Pop downstairs and have lunch, and we hope you dine your sleep. But if you are, Tracy, I told you, I don't insult anyone. So therefore, yeah, but that's fine. No, all jokes aside, seriously, if it's not for you and it's not for you, that's fine. Then please don't waste your time or ours by hanging around, because that's silly. And just come back in an hour's time. So we're sitting on 1:15 at the moment. We'll go for lunch. If you're interested to hear more about this, hang around and we'll bring some sandwiches and drinks in. Okay, and give Emil a round of applause, would you? A big round of applause for Emil. By the way, if you want to have a toilet break, we're going to kick this off in about 5 minutes. So if you want to have a toilet break, then pop back in. 5 minutes time.